I appreciate that. So I don't have a title, but I am going to be kind of blunt and straightforward with y'all tonight, because I think there's some things the Lord would have us consider. And so if I step on any toes, I'll go on and apologize ahead of time. But you can't hate me. The Lord done told you you have to love me. So if I mess this up, y'all just have to forgive, because you don't have a choice. But I do think that there's something we need to understand as Christians, as people that trust the Lord, that whatever He asks us to do, He's going to show up and help. And honestly, I mean, you think about the people in the Old Testament and the New Testament. That was the difference between Joshua and Caleb and all the other spies that went out there. They all saw the exact same thing, but they came back and 10 of them said, "Good Lord, there's giants out there. We can't do this mess." But all of them were thinking about themselves and what they could do. Joshua and Caleb said, "Well, yeah, they're big, but come on. Didn't God just get us through like a Red Sea and an invading army and all that? What are these guys? They're not nothing." We need that kind of mindset. We really do if we're going to be effective. All right, but tonight we're going to talk about kind of how to get there. How do we get to this mind? Because there is a confidence we're supposed to have. Right? We're not supposed to be all willy-nilly and is God going to work kind of people. That's not who we're called to be. Sometimes that's who we are, if we're being honest. But the more we know Him, the more we interact with Him, the less we should be wondering, is He going to do it? We might just be wondering, well, I know you're going to do it. How you're going to do it, that might be above my pay grade. But I know, because think about it, I know Don. He lives with me. I mean, it's hard to get closer than that. You know, regardless of what he does, I trust him. You know, he might not do everything I want him to do exactly the way I want him to do it. But I know his heart. And I know he's going to do good things, because that's who he is. If I can do that with my father-in-law or my best friend or whatever, why can't I act that way with God? Has he ever failed me? No. Has he done everything I've ever asked him to do? No. And sometimes what he did was better than I ever could have imagined. I really should start trusting in that. All right, so that's kind of where my mind is coming from with this stuff. So there is a confidence we are supposed to have. And it is a confidence that is born of familiarity. Does that statement make sense? The more we know him, the more we can trust him. All right, so we know him, and he knows us. Because I do think he entrusts us, his people, with his message. You don't see God out on the street corner nowadays, do you? Who does he send to the people that don't know him? He sends us. So, in some sense of the word, he does trust us. He trusts us with the message of the gospel. He trusts us to be lights. Okay? So, he knows us, we know him, and we've learned that we can depend on him. All right, so we're going to start in John the 15th chapter. And y'all know this. This is the story of the vine grower, and I'm the vine, and you are the branches. I'm not going to do the whole story. I want to focus in on just a couple of verses. And Jesus is talking to him. He says, all right, y'all, if Jesus was a redneck, he would say y'all. Y'all, you abide in me. Your home is in me. That's where you live. And I abide in you. Just like the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it is attached, abides in the vine. If they're not completely and totally attached, if it's hanging on by a nub, I don't think it's getting what it needs from the vine, is it? No, it needs to be firmly attached to the vine. So, just as the branch cannot, it is impossible for the branch to bear fruit unless it is just firmly attached to the vine. Neither can you unless you're firmly attached to me. And I know that's my word, but I think that's the right idea. I am the vine. All right, let there be no mistake, no confusion. I am the vine. You are the branches. The ones that abide in me, the ones who are just firmly attached to me, and I am firmly attached to them. You know what? They bear a little fruit. No, they bear a lot of fruit. Okay? Because apart from me, you can do what?
Nothing.
Nothing. All right. So that's the idea. Because we want to go out there and do God's will. We want to go out there and have great faith. But I don't think we can do that. We can't manufacture that on our own. And so we need to be firmly attached. Is kind of where I'm going with this. All right, so y'all, I'm going to tell y'all right now, and I think this is true, but I think there is a reality to God and to what He will do that we don't understand yet. I honestly, to me, it's like going to swim in the ocean and you only wade out as far as your toes can touch the ground. How much deeper does it get? A whole lot. And I think that's where we live. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm not going to step on anybody's toes tonight. But God's got a lot more out there that we just don't go exploring. So there's a reality that we don't understand. And honestly, I say, y'all take me for what I mean. When I say it's a nice platitude to say that I abide in Him, anybody can say that. I mean, anybody can say that. But just because you say it, does that mean it's true? So I am going to ask y'all to talk. What does it mean when it says, I abide in Him? What do y'all think? What does that mean to say, I abide in Him? Total trust. Right, Miss Nancy? The Holy Spirit, yes, I agree. And I just think there's more to this than just, does abiding, is that a one experience thing? I think it needs to be every day. All right, if you only go to, say Sam buys himself a log cabin up in Gatlinburg, and he goes there once a year. Is that his home? It's not. Your home is where, forgive me for saying this, is where you park your butt every night. Right? You don't go and visit. You stay there. You're there all the time. You are really familiar with that place, right? Okay. So that's what I think. You abide in me and I abide in you is not talking about a casual relationship. It's not. Now, I'm telling you this right now. And y'all know there are people out there that name the name of Christ. I abide in Him and He abides in me. And you know it's a lie. You know. Because you can say the words, it means nothing. And these people that say it, a lot of times they have no idea. I mean, they have a head knowledge. Yeah, Jesus is the Son of God. Well, yeah, demons believe that too. That doesn't mean they got a good relationship with Him. Faith relationship, trust, is way more than just, I understand this to be true. And a lot of these people, I'm not even saying they're bad people or they haven't had an honest experience with the Lord, but when all they can talk about is the experience they had 20 years ago, do they abide in Him? Does He abide in them? I don't think so. Because what about last week? Were you abiding with Him last week? What about this morning? What about right now? Are you abiding with Him right this second? I hope so. I pray you are. Because that is not the way abiding works. Abiding is not a one-time thing. And I think I've already covered it. Abiding is about where my home is. Yeah, where do I plant my feet at night? So, and here is the question y'all and all of us need to ask this of ourselves. Is the Lord at home inside of you? Is it a place that He comes all the time? You know, because He should. He should be very familiar with you, and you should be very familiar with Him. Okay? Or, as is the case with some, does He just make an occasional visit? Well, you know, He comes by on Sunday because that's all I ever really think about Him. You know, there's some people that like that. You know the Sunday morning Christians. All right? And I'm not saying bad things about anybody. What I'm going to tell you, if the Lord just comes by once a week, there is more for you than that. There's a lot more for you than that. Or it's just Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Wednesday night. Well, you know, that's 3 times more than the people that are just Sunday morning. But you know what? I need Him on Tuesday evening. And when I go to work on Monday morning and I got a kid that's cussing up a storm, I need Him right then. Because part of me wants to take and smack them around a little bit. And I can't do that. I'll get fired. And, well, I don't really want to smack them. But sometimes you just want to shake somebody and say, come on now. This is not the way normal people are supposed to act. What about the other end? We talked about, is the Lord at home with us? Are you at home with Him? I hope so. Sam over there not yes, and I pray he is. But that's not, I'm not the judge of that. That is above my pay grade. But there is 2 people that know this in truth. You and the Lord. Alright? So, my suggestion, don't be lying to yourself and to the Lord. Alright? So here's my question, y'all. How often do you actually go to Him? Do you seek Him out? Not He just approaches you. You ever get home, Lord, I missed you today, and you seek Him. You go after Him. That needs to happen. It needs to be a 2-way street. There are sometimes, you know, the Lord just touches you, and you know the Lord is thinking about you. Y'all know that. But there should be other times where you hunger for it. You know, Smushy sometimes will have to stay at the mission because it's bad weather or something. I miss her. And most of the times I call her about 11 o'clock at night to say, you know, not that we should miss the Lord, but that hunger and thirst for Him and His presence in us should be something we feel. Okay. Do you ever get, I just need to talk to Him? You know, Lord, I just need to pray. I need to seek. I need you. That's part of what we're supposed to feel when it comes to Him. Alright? And so, do you think about Him a lot? I do. Now, there are times I think about Him more than others. When I'm at my job, I do think about Him in the background, but I got to focus on what I got to do because I'm getting paid. I have a job, and I think the Lord understands that. But when I am free, He should be on my mind quite a bit. And I think He is, though He could be more. All right, y'all already see where I'm going? Is he consistently on your mind? All right, so here's where we're going to turn a little bit. And so I'm going to take the same idea. But y'all, how many times did Jesus ask people, what do you really want? He asked them that more than once, didn't he? He did. Okay? And I don't know how many times he did it. I just know it was a lot. But this I know. He asked that question so much because it was important. Okay? So now I'm going to ask it to you because I think this is important. You need to decide now, not just is it important, but how important is it that you and the Lord, forgive me for using the word, that y'all are tight. How important is it? Because you're going to have to decide. And so before you can decide, well, no, let me say that. You need to decide how important it is before you can decide what you're willing to do for it. Because there are times, no, not there are times, there is always a cost associated. If you want to be close to the Lord, it is going to cost you something else. Because if nothing else, it's going to take your time. And time spent seeking the Lord is time you're not doing something else. So you need to decide this. What are you willing to do so you can have this? So here's my question for y'all. Do you want more? Right. You should. I want more. Absolutely. I'll take it all. I'm going to take 5 different plates to the buffet table if I can. Because I want everything. I'm a little jealous. I'm a little selfish that way. Because I have found that where the Lord is working, life isn't perfect. But it is such a cool ride. Being where the Lord works, there is no other feeling like that. And it is just cool. All right. So, do you want more? Do you? Be honest with yourself. Okay? Now, here. How do you know that you want more? What tells you on the inside, I really do want this? And so, how is God going to know that you mean it? I mean, I know He can read your thoughts and minds. But, here, what are you going to do about it? Not everything is up to you. I know that. Y'all know that. But there are some things that are. What are you going to do so that you are closer to it? What action of yours is going to tell God, I really mean this? Because if y'all are like me, I have said things before and not followed through. And I don't want that to be y'all. I don't want that to be me. I want more. But I need to be willing to back up my words with actions. All right, y'all know what I'm talking about. So let me phrase this another way. What are you willing to lay down so that you can get closer? Are you willing to lay down the time you spend sleeping? Maybe you wake up earlier in the morning to pray. Or you pray longer when it's time to go to bed at night. Is that something y'all are willing to give up? What about food? I have not fasted in years. But you know that was a thing. Jesus fasted for 40 days and nights. I'm lucky if I can fast 45 minutes. That's not true. I can do longer than that. Don't really want to. But seriously, what about food? Would you give up food for a little while if you can become closer to God? What about your money? Man, I got to work. I've only put in 89 hours this week. That's not near enough. Miss Lorraine, I'm kidding. I hope you don't put in 89 hours a week.
Not anymore, I guess.
Well, I'm glad. we're seeking God, not if we really want to get closer. All right? Would you be willing to give up your vacation? Oh, Lord, that's hard. What about your pride? Your comfort? Would you be willing to step out of your comfort zone if it meant you were going to be closer to God? Lord, that's hard, isn't it? What if you're shy? Mushy. I love you. She is shy. Sorry to call you out, but she'll admit it. What are y'all holding back? Because probably all of us are holding something back. And I hate to say that, but if we're being honest, are there things you would not be willing to do? That's a hard question to answer. I'm going to tell you right now, moments matter. We talked about abiding. The Lord abiding in you, you abiding in Him. But you know what? If you don't have the moments, you can't have the long term, can you? You cannot say the Lord abides in you or that you abide in Him if He is not with you in at least most of the moments. We're human and we mess up. But it should be a pretty consistent thing that you and the Lord are together in things. Y'all know as well as the Lord does send people. Now here's a question that y'all probably won't know where I'm going with it, but I'm going to ask you. Who does the Lord send? He sends everybody. Or would send everybody. But you know what I'm going to tell you right now? You know who He sends? I think He sends the ones that hear Him when He calls. Think about it. If you are not consistently spending time with the Lord, when He calls, are you going to hear Him? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on if that particular moment you're listening. If you ring the doorbell and nobody's home, or they think you're a bill collector and I ain't answering the door for you, the more you listen, the more likely He is to call on you. The more likely He is to send you to somebody. You know why? He knows what you're going to do. He's familiar with you. He's familiar with your work. And He knows you're familiar with Him. Are you going to send a stranger to do something that's important? Well, I don't think the Lord is any smarter than us. He's going to send the ones that He's close to. The ones that are listening. So, how much time do you spend listening? All right. I got to get a move on because I'm going to run out of time and I don't want to keep y'all here all night. So I'm telling you now, there is a depth. We talk about there's a depth to what God, there's a depth to God that we do not know, that we have not experienced yet, that we have not explored. But I know it's there. And I know I have access to it because He would not deny that to me if I want it. And I heard Brother Gene say this, and it is absolutely true. I have as much God in my life as I choose to have. Not saying as much as I want to have, because I want a lot, but I don't always follow up my desires with the actions I need to do. Right? And I'm not talking about works or anything like that. I'm just saying, one place in James, you don't receive because you don't ask. If I really wanted it, I probably would have asked about it. Or you ask and you don't receive because you ask amiss. Well, maybe if I knew God better, I might ask for the right things. So I have as much God in my life as I choose to have. And I think that's true for all of us. And you know what? God respects that decision. As crazy as it sounds, it's true. God is not going to force Himself on anybody. here's a weird one, but I really think the Lord wanted me to read this. This is in Revelation. He's talking to the church in Philadelphia. And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia write this. These are the words of the Holy One, the true one, the one that has the key of David. And he opens things, and nobody is going to shut them. And he shuts things, and nobody is going to open it. And he's telling the church of Philadelphia, I know your works. Look. And he's serious. I think he's being serious. He says, you need to look. Because I have set in front of you an open door. All right? Now, I might be taking this in a place the Lord didn't with Philadelphia. Because when I'm thinking about this open door, it's an opportunity. And their opportunity might have been something completely different. But I'm telling you right now, there is an open door in front of us to come closer to God. I have set before you an open door which nobody is able to shut. I am going to leave this opportunity here for you right now. And it is always going to be there for you. I know that y'all just have a little bit of power. You say, y'all are not a powerful people, but you have an opportunity. There is an open door in front of you for something to happen. And y'all just have a little bit of power, but you know what? You have kept my word. And you have not denied my name. He said, y'all have not taken advantage of everything that is in front of you. But you know what? You have found a way to stand. And you have not once have you denied my name. All right, I'm going to skip down a little bit. And Jesus says, you know what? I'm coming soon. I am coming soon. Y'all need to hold fast to what you have so that nobody will seize your crown. You need to keep hold of what you've got because somebody could come and take it. But listen, he says, if you conquer. And I think the if you conquer might have to do something with them taking advantage of that open door. It's not you will conquer. The Lord says, if you conquer. So if you conquer, what is he going to say to you? You know what? Sam, because I'm just going to say Sam. Sam, if you conquer, I'm going to make you a pillar in the temple of my God. I mean, you're going to be part of the structure. I will make you a pillar in the temple of my God. And you will never, ever go out of it. I'm going to write on you the name of my God. And the name of the city of my God. You are going to be made a permanent part of this building. And my God's name is going to be written on you. Right. You know what? The name of the city of my God. The New Jerusalem that comes down from heaven. Come down from my God out of heaven. And you know what? I'm going to write on you my own new name. Let anybody that has an ear listen to what the Spirit is saying to the churches. Right? To us, right now, he is saying there is an open door for you. If you want to come in and eat with me, then I will eat with you. If you want to come get closer to me, I will come closer to you. If you want to know me better, cool. Let's do this. That's what he's telling us. This is our opportunity. We can do something with it. Or we won't. That choice is up to us. Either way, you know what? The Lord is going to do his work. He's either going to use us or he's not. Being a part of his work, being a part of it. That part does depend somewhat on our choices. If we seek him, if we want to go after him, he will use us. We will get closer to him, we will know him better, and he is more likely to use us out in the field. But we're not really going to get it unless we make that conscious decision that it's worth it. It is worth it. All right, I'm just about done. The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure that is hidden in the field, which somebody found and they hid it. I ain't letting nobody else get in this treasure. All right? Then, in his depression, he had joy. He found this treasure and it made him happy. Then, in his joy, he went and did something. What did he do? He, well, not just bought the field, he sold everything he had and then buys the field. I am not taking any chances. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant in search of fine pearls. The merchant knows what he wants. Do y'all know what you want? I do. I'm not entirely sure. It's not up to me to figure out how for me to get it, but I am going to seek for it. Merchant that is in search of fine pearls. And on finding one pearl of great value, he went and sold everything he had and bought it. That is what the Lord wants us. He's not asking you to give up everything. He's just asking you to make the decision that you would. If you need to give up the TV, give up the TV. If you need to give up the movies, if you need to give up, your brand new 4-wheel drive truck, if you need to become a missionary, whatever, it's not withholding. You will make, whatever it takes. If I'm going to get this, that's what we've got to decide. So here is the line that nobody can decide for you. Not your husband's mushy, I can't make this for you, and you can't make it for me. Your pastor can't do this for you, neither can your church. No one can decide what the Lord means to you but you. And he will follow your lead. So y'all tell me, and this seriously, I think this is my last slide. What do you think it's worth? Right? That is it. So hopefully I didn't step on too many toes, and I hope I didn't go too long. But I want more. I've tasted more. There have been times I've been close. There was one time with my brother, and Smushy was there for this. We were at a birthday party or something. We're in the middle of a Mexican restaurant, and my brother starts asking me about scriptures, which is never something we talk about. And we just start talking, and the Lord is in it. I feel it. And we spent an hour talking about it. The rest of my family, my mom, my other brothers, my niece, my nephews, all of them are there. But it's just me and my brother. And tears are coming down his eyes. And his son is like, "What's wrong with Daddy?" And my mom says, they're talking about the Lord or religion or something. I forget what she said. He was in that. And that was the coolest thing I think I have ever experienced. I want more of that. I want what Ananias had when the Lord said, "I need you to go hook up with this guy named Saul of Tarsus." And he's like, "Lord, are you sure? I've heard about this guy." And the Lord says, "Don't worry, I got it." And he shows up, and the first thing he said, "Brother Saul," there wasn't any fear in that man. The Lord done told him, "Don't worry, I got this." And he did. I want to be that one. I want to be the one that I just am there, and the Lord needs work done, and he's like, "All right, Tony's there, let's go." And I want that for y'all. I want that for everybody in this church. And I want y'all to take it out of the church and use it at your house, in the grocery store, at the gas station, and I don't know. But that's all I've got. So
Hey everybody, it's Tony again. Let me ask you a question. Do you have questions that you would like answered? Do you want advice on spiritual things? Because I want to help. I really would. I'd like to help you if I can. Now, let me be honest. I can't promise that I can solve every problem you have or that I can meet your every need because that's not going to happen. I can't. Um, and if I told you I could, it would be a lie. But I'm not going to lie to you. What I can promise is that if you ask me for something, then I'm going to at least pray about it for you. And, I'll try and help if I can, but, it's if I can. Um, if you would like my prayers or my advice or to talk about scriptural things or anything like that, what I want you to do is to text me or email me at he gave me a story at gmail.com. No spaces, no nothing, just all one word. He gave me a story at gmail.com. Now, there are some specific instructions to make sure I get it. So, what I need you to do to make sure and put help shared faith either in the subject line or in the body of the text. Um, Shared Faith is just the name of my Facebook page. And it's the filter that is going to send that email straight to me. Because if you don't put help shared faith in there, there's a good possibility I won't get it for weeks or months, um, if ever. And I don't want that to happen. So please make sure you put help shared faith either in the subject or the body of the text. And that's all I really have to say about that. I do want to say thank you for coming, for listening to the things I have to say, and for giving me the opportunity to present what I think God wanted me to talk about. Um, I know that sounds a little presumptuous, but I really feel like he leads me in these things. And I just wanted to share. So thank you for coming. And I pray that God really does bless you and your life and that he works to build you up and to make things better, to fill you with love and joy and happiness and all these wonderful things. I love you. God bless you. And hopefully we'll talk again soon. Thank you very much.